Now last week I mentioned that I was awaiting on a part for my Custom Shop 61 Fender Telecaster, and after quite a bit of a wait it finally arrived. And what do you think? What part did I order? And did I make the right choice? Hello viewer, my name's Stu. Please do check out my guitar channel as it covers my journey back to playing and recording. Thank you to all who take the time to subscribe, comment and get in touch. Always appreciated. Your support, it does help the channel, and do get in touch if there's a video you'd like me to make that might interest you, and I'll see if I can do that. Now, one regular viewer, thank you Amin, he asked me if I would consider an original pre-CBS Telecaster. Is that one that's likely to show up here in the studio? Well, if it's on loan from someone, then possibly, because those guitars are fetching very large sums of money these days, and it's not really something I would personally look to purchase. But do feel free to bring one in if you live in Scotland and you've got a pre-CBS genuine Telecaster you'd like me to review. So just another quick by the by, my Bad Cat, Black Cat, has returned from a checkup. Bad Cat contacted me to offer a free checkover as they've been doing some modifications recently, so thank you again to Bad Cat for that. It wasn't just the amplifier that came back to the studio, but also another item related to this, and I'm going to show you that next week. Something that's both great for playing live and recording, so stay tuned. So in this short video coming up, the guitar and the guitar part, its specifications and the amendments that were needed. Number 2, removing the original part and fitting the new one. And number 3, points of interest and some points that might help those to choose the right part when there are so many parts to choose from. More coming up. Number 4, my likes and dislikes. And number 5, conclusion, final remarks. So, without further ado, number 1, the doorbell rang, and inside this little package we have a genuine Fender 8-hole 3-ply scratch plate for a Telecaster, and as you can see, it's an apparel off-white finish. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't get a specific vintage era scratch plate, and this part is actually for newer Telecaster models whereby the neck pickup has exposed adjustment screws, and therefore this plate has those holes by the pickup cutout. Now here you can see the original plate that came off the Telly. You have to remove the plate if you want to adjust the pickup height. Also, there is no recess in the plate where you would normally see the truss rod adjustment screw, as the more modern models are adjusted up by the nut. Number 2, filling in the holes. Well, you can use various methods to do this. Much depends on how blended you want the plugs to match the rest of the guard. You can use different types of resin or super glue, tinted to match, or you could simply put a couple of small screws into the holes. So let's remove the original pickguard the guitar came with, and with this type of Telecaster that's very easy to do since there are no pickups attached to it. Now, using the correct size of Phillips screwdriver head, very important. This being from my Fender guitar toolkit, and it's a must-have if you're going to do general setups to your guitars. Once the 8 screws are removed, there's no need to slacken the strings as this type of plate slips out very easily underneath them. And here we can see the pickup adjustment screws that are under the scratch plate, and more clearly you can see the truss rod adjustment screw. Now the word relic is stamped here on the body, denoting the guitar model. The new pickguard is a Fender original part and slides once again easily into place, and I'm pleased to say that all 8 screws aligned perfectly. I knew about the 2 pickup holes, but I wasn't sure if the 8 screw fixing holes were going to be out of alignment anywhere. Now it's important to realise when ordering any type of scratch plate for your guitar, that body contours and fixings could be very different over the years of manufacturing. So do be careful. You do need to do your homework. So there you have it. What do you think? What do you prefer? The original off-white, slightly warm tinted plate, or this aged paraloid plate? So number 3, points of interest. There are a number of companies that make scratch plates, which I did look at, but because this guitar is a limited edition Fender custom shop, I do prefer to use genuine Fender parts. What I will say is, you know, the price difference for the cheaper pattern part, it's not really that great a difference. So an important point when fixing a scratch plate to your guitar, beware of correct fixings and sizes. Also, just a point to raise, nitrocellulose lacquers, they can react with certain plastics, so you might need to think about that if you're buying a pattern part. Another issue for some, it might be the need to affix copper foil to the underside of the scratch plate, especially if you experience earthing type noises with your specific guitar. So how did I choose the scratch plate that I felt would look good on this type of guitar without having to order lots of them and then try them all out? Well, if you're able, I photographed my guitar, and I took this into a photographic editing tool, in my case Photoshop. I then downloaded pictures of the scratch plates of interest, I cut them out and then laid them over the guitar, made a number of copies so I could sit back from the monitor and just see what jumped out at me. Now, I'd already figured it would likely be the paraloid finish, having seen this on similar vintage guitars. So number 4, likes and dislikes. What do I like about the new scratch plate? Being a Telecaster of this type, it's very easy to change out. A Stratocaster would take a little bit more time because you'd need to slacken off all your strings, and then your pickups, tone, volume controls and selector would need to be detached. But despite that, once again, not too difficult to change out if you're thinking about it. When I saw this guitar originally online, it was the specification I was looking for, a 60s model with a specific pickup match, a 9.5 radius rosewood neck and 6105 frets. The green finish is not a colour I would normally choose, but it's certainly been growing on me. I did, however, think that the scratch plate from a design perspective was maybe not the best match. While I'm not that really keen on textured finished scratch plates, something I mentioned before when reviewing my friend's custom shop 61 roasted Stratocaster with its tortoiseshell scratch plate, I said it reminded me as a young child of those kind of cheap looking kitchen worktops from the 1960s. However, I did feel that this 61 era Telecaster would benefit from a pickguard either in tortoiseshell or paraloid, and I have to say I'm really liking the look. So what do I dislike? I suppose the only real remark I can make is I would have preferred to have purchased a scratch plate that didn't need any amendments done to it. Not a big issue for myself, but for some it might not be so easy to deal with. The Fender dealer I bought this from couldn't get a specific plate for me directly from Fender, as there was already backlogged product issues. So I'm not sure if that's been sorted and you can actually get one now. So you would need to check if you're interested. Number 5, conclusion, final thoughts. Changing parts on a guitar has always been a popular thing to do in the 1970s as a young player, when most of us budding rock guitarists could only afford one guitar at a time. I know that might be a shock for some of you. An easy change, particularly a Tele or Strat style guitar, was to switch out scratch plates, change the look of the volume tone knobs, the nut the tuners, and of course, if you really fancied a change, then just give it a lick of paint, give it a new paint job. However, if your guitar is a branded model and has quite a bit of value in it, then you may want to stick with genuine replacement parts, always keeping the original part that you replaced in your guitar case. Otherwise, as I mentioned, there are many cost-effective pattern parts available, but you may find there could be differences in quality, and there might also be fitting issues. So care needed. All in all, these things are all a personal choice. Not forgetting, of course, if you're able, you can make your own custom pickguard out of whatever you like. So I hope that this was helpful or of interest. As I say, next week I'm going to show you a new piece of equipment that will be very helpful in my recording studio. I've been getting that into shape to be a place that's more comfortable to play in. Having a comfortable environment with all your tools to hand is really important for productivity. So I've been doing that for the last few days. So please do think about subscribing, hit the bell to get notifications, like and share. It really does help the channel. And do check out my channel playlist, which covers my journey back to playing and recording guitar after that 40-year break. So whether you're a newcomer, an ongoing player, or like me, just an old hand returning to guitar playing, I always take the time to engage with folks who take time to comment. So until next time, the journey continues. Do take care.